I'm Wyatt Bruton, and I'm here on the campus of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and what a fascinating semester it's been in media landscapes of the 21st century. We looked back to see how the theories and principles behind media landscapes of the past influenced us today, and we looked forward to predict the future. We find ourselves today in a world with a fascinating dichotomy, an intriguing disconnect, and an insightful predictor. We live in a world with two distinct generations living together simultaneously. One generation is known as the baby boomers. As current college students, it's our parents' generation at one end of the spectrum. For most of them, born in the 1950s, black and white over-the-air television was one of the most advanced technological innovations of their time that influenced their day-to-day lives. But the world in which they have lived and grown up has evolved and advanced quickly, leaving many of them behind. And here we are, on the other end of the spectrum. Since we were young children, new media technology has been an integral part of our lives. Some would even say it defines our lives, and even our generation. The relationship between these generations is a balance between inclusivity and exclusivity, literacy and illiteracy. This short film will offer a look into these two generations and will be a critical assessment of the relationship between them. It will end by asking an extremely important question. Given the proficiency gap between the current generations of college students and our parents in terms of new media technology, will we be behind our children as they grow up in this generation of technology far more advanced than our own? Will we be in the same position as our parents are currently with our children in college in terms of being paralyzed by a literacy and proficiency gap? Though we won't know the real answer to this question until we are into that position, it is a fascinating question to explore and a great way to end the semester. So this video will use a case study approach to get an in-depth view of this fascinating dichotomy present in our world today. This is so important as we look ahead to the future of new media technology and our role in the world. I hope you enjoy. So let's begin with a look at our own generation, one in which new media is a part of the very fabric of our everyday lives. It expands the horizons of how we communicate. It keeps us connected wherever we are in the world. As discussed in class, this new generation is the product of a new kind of autonomy and identity, one in which we use new media for communication, for friendship, for entertainment, for self-expression, to explore interests and to find information beyond the school and local community, and for staying connected with peers.
Okay, so I'm here with Lauren Breedlove, who's a psychology and religious studies double major. Lauren, how does new media technology impact your everyday life?
I think it's kind of a neat way to stay connected with people that I don't get to see very often, especially like Facebook and I guess email isn't exactly new anymore, but I recently got a BlackBerry, which is interesting because everything's runs through it, and so it's kind of annoying sometimes to have everything going off and be like, oh, you have an email, you have a text, you have a Facebook, but it is nice to be able to quickly communicate with people and not have to worry about how you're going to get in touch with people.
Okay, Lauren, so it sounds like you're pretty connected. Tell me about your
It's kind
parents.
of different because when they were in college and we were growing up, they didn't really have a lot of communication that we have. When my mom was in school, she called her parents once a month because it was so expensive to call from a payphone, and now if I don't call her at least 2 or 3 times a week, she gets upset about it. So.
And I'm here with Will Lamb, who's a junior Spanish major here at UNC. Will, what role does new media technology play in your everyday life?
Well, new media technology plays a huge role in my life. I use Facebook, Twitter, I text a lot, I use a lot of email, and it keeps me connected with friends.
Will, what role do you think technology plays in our generation as a whole?
I think really technology defines our lives and our generation. Like I said earlier, it keeps us connected with each other.
And where would you say that your parents are in terms of integrating new media technology into their lives?
I think my parents are way behind our generation. They're learning little by little. They use email at work, and they're both learning how to text. And it's funny because my sister and I are the ones who are teaching them. That usually doesn't happen until this generation. But they're getting there, but I think there's a huge gap between our generation and my parents' generation with using technology.
And Will, last but not least, 20 or 30 years from now, and when we are in our parents' shoes and our children are in high school and college, what will our relationship be in terms of how they use media?
I think we'll be on the same page. I think especially with us starting to use that technology, such as Facebook, Twitter, email, texting, at a really early age, we're going to know how, and we're going to be the ones teaching that to our kids. It's not going to be our kids teaching us. I think we'll be about the same. We'll be able to work together and be connected together.
So now we have a glimpse of our generation and our perspective on our relationship with new media technology. Now, let's take a look at our parents' generation and their perspective on this dichotomy between our generations and their relationship with new media technology. I'm here with my mom, Wyatt Bruton. Mom, can you tell us a little bit about how new media technology has changed in your lifetime?
When I was growing up, the only technology that I remember was landline telephone, and we had TV. Of course, we didn't have any cable. This really sounds like the dark ages, doesn't it? We did have big calculators and no computers. But as a student in college, I used a typewriter.
And how have you adjusted to the changes you've seen in your lifetime?
For me, it has been difficult adjusting because technology has changed so quickly within the last few years. Luckily, I've had a son who is very technologically savvy and has helped me learn to do email and become comfortable using a computer.
Mom, what do you think about the literacy gap between my generation and your generation in terms of using new media technology?
I think there is a huge gap between my generation and yours. For instance, Wyatt, when he started preschool, he was using a computer there and then became computer literate as an elementary school student. And using the computer has just been a second-hand learning for him all through school. And his communication style with his friends is totally different than when I was growing up, because he has constant communication with his friends through email, Twitter, and Facebook. And the first time that I used even a cell phone was when Wyatt was born 21 years ago. So you can see the vast gap there.
And what do you think has been the hardest part of adjusting to the media changes you've seen in your generation?
Personally, it's just been difficult for me just to pick up the skills. And once I've learned them, they are very easy. And I think a lot of it is because I did not have those skills as a child and just continually use them.
And Mom, do you think I will be in the same position you are when I have kids my age in terms of the gap between generations?
No, White, I really don't, because your generation is so technologically savvy that I think you're just continue with any new updates in the technology that you're going to keep up with those. And so I feel like when you have your children and even your grandchildren, there's not going to be that gap like there's been between my generation and yours.
So now it's your turn to contribute to this conversation at this critical point in our history. As a member of this class, take a minute and reflect on how new media technology impacts your life. This can be anything from your Twitter, to your Facebook, to your BlackBerry, or your iPhone. Imagine your life without these things. Where would you be? Really think about it. How would your life be different? Go be intentional and ask your parents and professors about their place in our time. What do they think about the disconnect that we've discussed today? You might be surprised what you discover. Dean Cole, Enrique, and Clark, what do you think about your place in the world? And when we're your age, will we be in your shoes? We would value your insight as we comment on this and look ahead together. Perhaps we could even start a thread on Blackboard to cast a vision for the future, as we have all semester. So here we are, having just crossed the threshold of the 21st century, and what fascinating times lie ahead of us. Perhaps in 25 years, when we have our own children, we'll look back on this very video and laugh at how naive we were to think that we could keep up with the technology as it evolves in our lifetime. Perhaps our children will be far ahead of us in terms of how they use new media technology. But in my opinion, our generation will be the first in history to stay on track with this technology as it develops, evolves, and advances. If this is true, it's good news, for we all know that as we finish up college and find our place in the world, full of global, national, and local issues, we will need many tools that will equip us to enact change and make a lasting impact. Thanks for watching.